Hey, we made it, day 3. Let me be the first to welcome you to day 3, right? Rise from silence. Oh, man. Rise from silence. And day 3's focus is going to be stop blaming. Fellas, stop blaming and start leading, right? Oh, man. So I want to welcome everybody to day 3, like I said. And we always like to give you a quick review of day 1 and day 2. But before we do that, I always like to ask for some permission, right? And as we go through these conversations, as we have these lessons, that sometimes it might feel a little uncomfortable. Sometimes you may feel as though I'm judging you. I hope you don't. I want you to know I hear you. I want you to know that what I'm sharing with you, I've also lived. I've been talking about it throughout the challenge and will continue to. And because I know one thing about this whole process. We can move from unconscious patterns, right? We want to move you from... By being a disruptor, we can move you from unconscious patterns to conscious awareness. Unconscious patterns to conscious awareness. See what you're hiding from for the very first time in a long time. For some of you, the first time ever. Right? I know, man, before I realized that I was captured by all the unresolved emotions. I was captured by the things that I had stacked on top of my behaviors to protect myself, right? All my life, I was captured by those things, and those triggered behaviors, and those behaviors became the patterns of how I dealt with silence. Is what we've been talking about, how I use silence. Sometimes we talk about it a lot here as wisdom, right? When I learned to keep my mouth shut, and sometimes I use it dangerously. And it cost me relationships. It cost me business situations. It cost in all areas of my life. And I talked to so many people and women that are like, man, I just don't understand why I can't get him to talk to me. He does these things. And tell me if you're hearing these things in your own behaviors. We start talking, everything's cool. And then all of a sudden I may have said something, or he has a flashback, and then he begins to retreat into his own little space. And then he says he doesn't want to argue or talk anymore because he might say something or he might be, fill in the blanks. Right? And then the relationship oftentimes, unfortunately, ends up, if it's a marriage, in the divorce court, right? 55, interviewing studies show, in one example, that 55% of the people that were going through divorce, 85% of the men were unable to communicate when it needed the most. In other words, they retreated into silence. They put the walls up. The walls came up automatically. They didn't put them up. The walls came up automatically, and over a period of years or period of time, whatever it was, that was the reason that finally she said, hey, I can't take anymore. Right? Man. So our goal, we want to disrupt you. What did I say earlier? Move you from unconscious patterns to conscious awareness, right? Because it's the real thing, man. We do some things consciously, but most of our behaviors every day is run by a subconscious mind. And when we're talking about this particular subject, fellas, we already know. I mean, if you've been listening to any of this, and I hope you have, or you've been sharing this information, know that it is meant to be able to be used and do some work right now, right? Because our promise every day is the same promise, man. To tell the truth without falling back or fighting back. Learn to get comfortable telling the truth without falling back, without fighting back. Right? Each day is a little different. Turning and the whole challenge is set up so like day 1. And I'm just gonna go quick review of that. Day 1 was the name of day 1 was when pain becomes an excuse, right? And look, the truth is that pain can explain some shutdowns, the science treatment, and then sometimes it doesn't give me an excuse to stay hidden though. That's the thing, right? We use it, but then it uses us. And the promise from day 1 was, again, turn pain from excuses into strengths. And we had an exercise. And I'm just going to review what the exercise is. I'm going to just take a minute, like I said, to go through day 1 and day 2, and we'll get to why we're here for day 3. We use the exercise I believe in. It's tremendous and it works. Mirror moment. Who are you protecting? Was the end of day 1, right? So who are you protecting? And then I gave you some examples. Is it your pride, right? Your fears that are kind of lurking in there because they're always present there. Relationships that are really over. Ego. So pride, ego, some feelings somewhat, right? Or this, the little boy who learned honestly was dangerous. So if you really want to come here to get some results and you want to do something differently, most raise their hand when we talk about the little boy. Because I know it was for me, right? That little boy, I talk about it all the time at the end of the driveway. I can remember everything I had on and what was going to happen to me if I got on the bus because, we were picked on in the community because people thought we were better than others. I mean, there's a whole story around that. But anyway, so that little boy, man. Which one is it for you? Day 2. So the bridge now, because each one of these are built on it. So from day 1, separate the silence that protects you from the silence that quietly is killing all your relationships. Right. So that's the thing. Separate it, and by owning who it is, when you finally say, okay, yeah, Jeff, I don't know if it's the little boy. I don't think I have any issues like that. Okay, that's cool. If you're still with us, that's good. But if you say, man, thank you for helping me understand what's really going on with me, where it's really coming from, right? Who is it and all that, who, what, where, and all that stuff, right? Anyway, so that's day 1. And day 2, silence is not always strength, right? We recognize that now. We know it's not. We know it's wisdom, right? When we use it to keep ourselves from blowing up relationships, but it's not always the strength. Not all silence can be wisdom. Sometimes the most dangerous is not knowing which one we're using. That's that pattern I talked about at the very beginning, right? When we're unconscious patterns that we're following, that are running the show for us, that are leading us down the roads of destruction, right? So silence is not always strength. Sometimes it's the most dangerous, but you learn how to tell which one is which one you're using, baby. And the promise again is know when it, listen, know when it's wisdom and when it's dressed up fear. Man, okay, so you can see from where you were on day 1 to running on autopilot and thinking you got it under control and it's just a communication problem, right? I just don't know how to communicate. This is the way I am. This is how I've always been. And you make excuses around, reasons around, well, I don't want to yell. I don't want to argue with her. I don't want to say things, whatever that is. But you've created a pattern of behaviors that are just running the show. Silence. Wisdom keeps from reacting when it's wisdom. Silence is fear when it keeps you from telling the truth. Right? That's really what's happening. Yeah, you're silent, but you're really afraid to tell the truth. You're really afraid to be exposed, to be trust. Man, I get it. When I say we were afraid, I was afraid in this space, man. I was like, I was just talking to this young man earlier today, and he said, "What are you doing, man? How's that going?" And I was telling him about it. He said, "Yeah, man." And I said, do you remember the first time you really got your feelings hurt? Where was it? Who was it? What did you do? How did you feel? Right? I mean, all those basic things. And if it don't get resolved, baby, it's gonna show up eventually. But we put stuff on top of it. Everybody knows what I'm talking about here, right? Silence, wisdom keeps from reacting when you're using wisdom. Silence is fear when it keeps you from telling the truth. So the mirror moment, that exercise is, what is your silence producing? Right. Well, this is end part of day 2. We're getting to day 3. What is your silence really producing? Peace? Is it bringing you peace? Is it bringing you clarity? right, in your situation? Are you finding some calm and peace and clarity, right? Or we're teaching you how to become more mature, some maturity in your behaviors and your actions. Is that what it's doing? Or check it out, is it distance? Is it creating more distance? Right? Is she stacking some more resentments on top of the other resentments she's got because you continue to put the walls up, you continue to create resentments from your behaviors from her, you continue to distance yourself from the real relationship and confusion. So which one is it? Right. So that was day 2, and then we left day 2. I know I want to give you a bridge as to what we look for in our bridges, and it's important to kind of follow along with me from day 1 to day 2. Right. First thing is day 1 was giving you the map, that honesty map, where you peel back the layers and you see what's happening with yourself, right? And then the bridge for that day 2 was tomorrow we stop explaining. Right, we got done with day 2. We stop explaining what happened and start owning what happens next. Ooh, right. Hey, listen, man, we're doing the work. You already looked at the excuses. You kind of identified how you're using it. What's really, really the underlying root cause to all of that? It's not, you don't communicate. It's not about relationships. It's not all that stuff we used to say, right? There's there's that some things that you never told anybody else in your life, right? That's been hiding, and those are some of the deep rooted things that are happening to you. But just on the surface, baby, right? It's not what you say it is. It's what you don't say, right? So day 1, we talked about. Day 2. And then and day 2's homework was important, right? So we ask you to take the next 24 hours when you hear this message. If you haven't done it already, take the next 24 hours, right? And tag every time you find yourself in that space where this behavior is showing up, right? And then tag it and put one of 2 words. And one is peace, right? Did it bring you peace? Your actions bring you peace, or was it avoidance? Did you shut down so you can avoid things, or did it bring you peace because you were able to stand in the space and talk about it? Right? So again, each day stacks on top of the other one. So we admitted some things. We got some understanding of how we can use silence as a viable option and how it can be destructive. And it's really despoils the connectivity, and why the relationships don't seem to grow, or you keep starting over again. I'm talking really to the fellas that really want to do something with their life. Those other jokers that are in these relationships and don't want to do any work, I want you to listen to me, because at some point you're going to understand that this does apply to you. It may not feel like it does in your life right now, but this applies to the man who really wants to have a relationship. And I think we all do to some level. An honest, caring, nurturing, and growing relationship, and being a viable partner with a woman of strength and courage, and who's all in, baby. Ain't nothing like a woman that's all in with you, man. I'm telling you, ain't nothing like it, right? And we all want that. I believe that to be true. Some of you want more than one. Hey, that's another conversation. I used to do that too, right? Not for me. But anyway, that's the real hit. To whatever extent it is that you want. I know it to be true, man. I know it. So day 3, here we go, baby. Look. What's day 3 about? Stop blaming, right? You know, refer to my notes here, man. I got them all over the place because this subject is so broad, and I want to stay on point with things. Day 3 is really powerful, man. It says stop blaming. I told y'all from the beginning, I'm going to call you out. Stop blaming and start leading, right? And look, I know what happened to you was a real thing. I know what happened to me was a real thing, as I talk about first early on. And it's not just about relationships with ladies that we don't deal with, fellas. It's relationships of pain that we've gotten from our friends, right, who have gotten picked on or made fun of, or just all that baggage that we feel like, that don't have any effect on me. Well, I'm telling you it does. Look at what all I have. Well, I'm going to tell you can have more, right? And have some more meaning around it if you didn't have all this crap stuck on top of you, right? All these unresolved, all these issues, right? Afraid to be vulnerable, afraid to be honest, afraid to be hurt again, not trusting, really trusting yourself with anybody else. That's a whole other conversation, but you guys get the point, right? So anyway, what's day 3, man? What happens to you is real, but there's no reason for you to stay there. Man, I gotta tell you, I got comfortable in this space of silence in this part of my life and relationships before I realized that it was a real detriment to me, before I realized where it all rooted from, right? And was able to get free from it. I used it, man. I'm telling you, I was a master silencer. I would blame it on all the things that happened to me as a child. I blame it on how my feelings were hurt and how I couldn't trust anybody. I blame it on, there's nobody worth trusting again in my life. No woman would be worth trusting again, no matter what it was for me. This is just the nonsense, the noise that was going on in my head, right? So when I tell you I qualify, when I tell you that right, I'm not judging. I'm just sharing some real life stuff, man. This is real. And I know what's going on today. I see so many young, sharp cats that are like, man, is that you? Are you telling yourself, are you telling yourself you don't really know why? Are you telling yourself how you've been working on it and there's some blame in this? Is it that you're working too hard, you're too busy to have time to really look at it? Or is it that you tried it once and she blew it up on you, she uses it against you now, making you feel like a complete idiot, complete fool, just not giving you any courage, any strength, anything to make you feel good about yourself? So today I ask you to stop blaming what we've been talking about and start leading something different, choosing something else, right? And we talk about taking baby steps. Some of you are ready to move, right? Some of you cats out there hear this and you're like, man, Jeff, this is spot on. And I'm willing to do the work because I have a wife who I know she deserves more. I know that I'm not showing up and doing my part. Or, we bring both of y'all. I don't do white husband and wife counseling, but we can put her in touch with somebody, or we can meet in separately, however that might be for you, to do what I'm talking to you about, because it's necessary, because nothing's going to change until the internal piece gets some resolution, right? It just won't happen that way, man. Anyway, so what are we doing on day 3? Stop blaming what happened, start leading what's next. And look, I always say it all the time, man, I am not minimizing your real impact of what's happened to you. I know the feelings are real. I know the experiences are real. I know whatever process in your life that you've gone through to get into this space where you use silence as a mechanism, and sometimes silence as wisdom, but it's a piece of you that it runs on automatic pilot, right? And you've got triggers, right? Those triggers run and boom. And you're trying, it's dragging you down the street with your heels in and your brakes on, you're pulling back, trying to stop yourself from being drugged down the street with it, but you don't know how to stop. Until today, until this week, until this challenge, until this exercise, right? Because you already, no excuses. You really know what the real root cause is. And yeah, you got to do some work to get down to wherever you are in your life with that little boy, because everything we've done, we just put on top of that, and we keep acting like everything is cool and fine. And it's not, right? And then we use it to sometimes be smart about the relationship, but most of the time it's to defend and protect ourselves, right? And create disconnection. And now we're not going to blame ourselves anymore, though, baby. No more blame, baby. It's time to make a difference. No more blame. So I encourage you to stay with me here, right? As always, and we're getting into the truth part of the message today. And I said it before, what happens may be real for you, and I'm not denying that what happened to you may be legitimately just the raw, nastiest, terrible thing that's ever happened to you. But at some point, you got to put it down. Because you can't keep continuing to blame whatever it is you're blaming on the reason why you can't become the man you know you want to be, the man you're meant to become. You just know that, right? So in this mirror moment, right, here we go. I like to do some work. You guys ready for some work? Huh? Come on. When you get this, and I challenge you to really just find yourself in a nice quiet spot. Get your pen and paper out on your phone, your computer, whatever it is, and do this exercise. Find yourself in some quiet time. Get yourself in the right mood. You deserve what I'm about to talk to you about. The mirror moment. Who are you blaming for the man you refuse to become? I already asked you that. Are you blaming past relationships, current relationships, careers? Right? I mean, it's the same stuff, fellas. Are you blaming the relationships? She doesn't even respect me. She doesn't understand how all the things I do for her, whatever. Because I'm not blaming the ladies, fellas. That ain't where we're at today, right? So if you into that space, then you certainly need to be here. But are you blaming her for your behaviors when you're running on automatic pilot? You got conscious patterns that are running subconsciously for you now, right? Is it your career? Man, I'm so busy. I'm providing for my family, got all these things. I want to build my business, focus on the business. It's really got a lot of demands. So you're blaming that on your inability to communicate with patience, your inability to participate full out because you're distracted. What is it around the job, your business, or your career that you're blaming on being able to show up 100% in this space we're talking about, and not using silence as a way out, as a retreat? Yeah, I like that. Are we using silence as a retreat to hide back, go back and hide? So we talked about business, we talked about relationships, we talked about career, about family, man. Are we using family? I mean, think about it. I want you to really think about this. When you get this and you're hearing this and you're working, if you pay for this class, this workshop, and later on in life, I want you to really be thinking about family. Where does the family fit? Right? Where does the family fit? You know, I know for me growing up, we had a lot of cousins, and there was one point in my life before, you know, things changed physically where I was kind of the blunt of the jokes, and I was goofy looking. So, you know, when you're hanging out with family is ruthless with, you know, because we all got things going on in our lives. It's always easy to make fun of somebody else. So I was the one they make fun of. Right? And so is that part of it? The family is still holding on to. Because look, it's not about just the women, man. Fellas, it ain't about that. It's about what I'm talking to you about now. Some stuff that happened to us a long time ago that no one ever said anything about. So we stuffed it, we ignored it, we pretend like it didn't exist. Right? We became these dressed up garbage cans, like I always talk about, successful on the outside. Some of us, it maybe even impacted our ability to earn, and we didn't have success. So we blame it on that, right? Jobs we can't keep, businesses that we build we can't keep, right? Or a combination of them, and we find ourselves chasing our tail all the time, wherever you might be, man. There's some blame going on. And yeah, there's some legitimacy in it too, right? When you're vulnerable without conditions, when you're vulnerable without, you know, manipulation as a plan, and stuff doesn't go right, man, I 100% with you. The reluctance to do it again, it can be that way is different. And I know there's all kinds of different opinions. Men have different opinions. I'm not telling my wife this. I'm not telling my wife that, or whatever that opinion might be. You know, look, I'm gonna tell my wife everything I can, even the most difficult things. And I hope she does for me too. So anyway, I know she does. So can we talk about all the other stuff, right? So now let me find out. I got a little exercise for you on that one. It's today's work. The ownership we're going to take ownership today. Today is all about taking ownership. Today is all about deciding that I'm not going to blame anybody else, and it's my responsibility. And I'm going to have Jeff help me do that. I will have no longer be a blame. I'm going to stop blaming and start leading. And listen, we all are leaders. Whether you have leadership roles in the business that you work, whether you have a leadership role in the company that you might be part of, that ownership-wise, however it is, we do all have leadership responsibilities. So stop blaming and become a leader. So check this out. Today's work for day three, right? And we're going to stack on top of it. Today's work is an ownership rewrite. I want you to write that down. Ownership rewrite. Here you go. List who and what you still blame for your silence. So, come on, y'all. Do the work, right? List who and what you still blame for your silence. Right. And this is going to probably be more than just one person, more than just one situation. So give yourself some time. Start today. Whenever you hear this and you're listening to this, start right when you hear it. Right? Because make a decision, take action, you get results. You listen, postpone, procrastinate, you end up in the same spot. So I'm talking to those that really are tired and sick and tired of themselves and they want to move forward. So what are you going to do? You're going to do the ownership rewrite, right? I mean, just check this out, man. I mean, we already know what the mirror moment is all about, right? Who are we still blaming for the man we refuse to become? That's that mirror moment. We're really getting honest about it. Looking in the mirror, baby, right? I mean, oh man, it's so simple. It's some simple stuff, fellas, right? Well, seems simple, but why aren't you doing it? So anyway, the ownership. List who and what you still blame for your silence. Check this out. Here's the real work. Then rewrite every line starting with the word I. Check this out. She made me shut down because. No, I'm sorry. She made me shut down because. This is what we said before. It's her fault. She did this. She said this. She made my feelings hurt my feelings, whatever it might be, whatever reason it is, or he, the boss, or your cousin, or your mom, or whoever is in that circle that's created some pain, some emotional disdain for you. Whoever's in that circle, check it out, right? So, what are you going to do? Choose, rewrite every line. She makes me shut down becomes I choose silence when I feel disrespected. Same facts, new owner. I choose silence when I feel respected. Big difference. Hey, right now, you're going to want to, I feel like I'm shutting down because I feel disrespected. It's a whole lot different than she makes me shut down because, right? So I want you to practice. I choose silence when, and this one is I feel disrespected. I choose silence when I feel threatened emotionally. I feel silence when my feelings are hurt. I feel silence when, fill out in the blanks, man. Taken advantage of. I feel silence when a feeling comes that I'm not sure where it's come from. So I feel threatened. What is that for you, man? What is it? Same facts, new owner, baby. And I'm telling you, the exercises work because then you're writing in day one, right? Day one, right? You're creating that map, figuring out that, oh man, there's myself from whatever age it was when I first started to get my feelings hurt. When I first learned that honesty was dangerous to me, when I first learned that exposing myself emotionally was not a good idea. So I thought. We learn those things from the interaction we have from our kids and the communities we grow up with, all that stuff. Right? So, all right. So I believe that's what we got for day 3. Right? These are just some little touches, baby. We got so much more to add on to, man. So what are you going to do on day 3? You're going to finish this exercise. The man I refuse to become is waiting on me to stop blaming. Boom. Who is it? The man I refuse to become, because as long as we're making excuses, we're not going to do anything different, right? So the man I refuse to become is waiting on me to stop blaming. Right. I know for a long time I was blaming, my mom and dad because I didn't have a place to go. I was blaming my cousins for how I felt because of how they treated me. I was blaming the girl in the circle of friends in the summertime for how I was become this guy that was cold and calculated and manipulative. And, I justified how I treated ladies. I'm honest. I don't beat them up. I provide for them. I'm not physical. I don't abuse them verbally, all that other stuff. But I manipulated. But I also found out that I was attracting sick people, right? Sick people attract sick people. So I learned some. So anyway, you get the point. So the man I refuse to become is waiting on me to stop blaming. This is important because tomorrow, guys, we're bridging. Remember, every day we bridge something. We're honest. We look at taking the responsibility. We're not blaming anymore, right? So we're honest. We get to the real issue. We understand that there is a part of wisdom that has strength. Silence, it has some wisdom to it, creates some strength, and then there's some misuse of that. And now we're looking at, oh man, stop blaming and start leading, start looking for the answers of becoming who we want to be, right? So now check it out. So now this, day 4, so the bridge from everything we've gone through today is tomorrow I'll teach you how to say the hard thing. Tomorrow I'll teach you how to say the hard thing without falling apart, without fighting back, right? Because you're prepared now. When you're in this situation where the nerve is triggered, you already know that, hey, man, I am still dealing with some old unresolved wounds, unresolved issues that we got to be helpful because it shows up in my patterns and my behaviors and all that other stuff Jeff talked about, right? So what are you doing? I teach you how to say the hard things without falling apart. That's what you can expect tomorrow. Day 4 is big, man. Day 4 is vulnerability is a disciplined truth, right? Using it for the better good and not as manipulation. So how do you say the hard things? That's what we're going to be talking about. So listen, I want to thank everybody today. And I think we have it for those of you that want to get the recordings because they're not going to be out probably any longer than 48 hours after day 5 is over, right? And then there's some VIP options in there, man, where I don't talk a lot about it. I'm going to tell you what you get. You're going to get an hour. There's about 2 or 3 hours of different calls, a discovery call to really kind of dig into what is really going on and share some experiences around that mirror moment on some tools that you can really take if you really wanted to get yourself fixed in a hurry, right? And then a road map. I don't like to use road map because everybody's got a freaking map. I got one too, I guess, on how to stick to what we learned in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and 5, and really drill down in it and make it a real regiment in your day without being taxed with time and all the other stuff. And then, man, and guess what? A whole nother thing around really digging around pattern disruption, new identities, boundaries, all those things that are important to learn how to do, and then rise as leaders, baby, as true leaders. Diving deep into the leadership piece of it, man. So anyway, a lot of that for $47, lifetime access to the recordings. And so I know you got 3 or 4 hours of calls with me and some roadmaps. Check it out. Just hit the link. It's in the comment section. Right. I think we're going to just leave it up for today too. And as always, man, I want to encourage you. I want to remind you. I want to be epic in your presence, encouraging, praising, inspiring, and complimenting, and challenging you to do something different in your life, fellas. There is nothing more powerful. There is nothing more powerful than being able to stand in your space, vulnerable, unafraid, trusting, regardless of the outcome, right? I'm not saying be a complete buffoon and continue to allow yourself to be abused emotionally and all those other things. I'm saying you'll become a better judge when you become a better person. You become a better judge of people when you become a better person for people. That's a Jeffism, right? So let's do that. Let's become better people. Let's believe in the power of authenticity. Let's believe in the power of vulnerability. Let's believe in the fact that when we look in that mirror, we can change our lives. We can change our lives one step at a time. And for those of you ready to run fast to do that, then I would suggest tomorrow I'm going to introduce you to something, an opportunity that you can do that. So VIP people, VIP this thing, share this information. I will welcome you to day 4 tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time. Have a great, fantastic day. I want you to know that I truly believe in you. We believe in you at Comeback King Enterprises. And as comeback warriors, man, let's stop blaming and let's start leading. Let's start being that solution rather than following a pattern that's been disrupting the joy and happiness that we've all been looking for in our relationships, in business, health, family, spiritually. Time to change. Let's do it now, baby. See y'all tomorrow. Take care now. Remember, VIP $47 if you want to have this thing for life and some other things. Check it out. Let me know where you're at. We will see y'all.